Hi. If your child struggles with anxiety and you're looking for some help and support, well, you're in the right place. So please stick around for the next 10 minutes or so. Hey, I'm Sue Simmons. I am the founder of Equinox Family Consulting and the creator of the Better Behaviour Bootcamp for ASD moms. If you are an ASD mom, I've got your back. I'm on a mission to help you take back your power. I want to give you the skills to manage difficult behavior. I want you to feel competent as a parent to your ASD child, and I want you to cultivate a more positive and loving relationship with your child. Sound okay? Good. Well, welcome to episode 9 of To the Spectrum and Beyond, every Thursday at 2 p.m. Most Thursdays at 2 p.m. I'll be here. So today I'm going to help you pinpoint what triggers your child's anxiety and give you some strategies and tools to manage it. You might want to grab a piece of paper and a pen. I'm going to ask you to write a few things down. So, anxiety is just a part of life. We all deal with it, some more than others. Things happen to us during the course of our days that really trigger us. Someone cuts you off in traffic, or you're stuck in traffic and you're late for a meeting that you've been waiting for months. And these things happen to us. Our stress response was originally intended to help us in situations like being chased by a tiger, for example. So it was intended to really keep us safe and alive. And in this day and age, we're dealing with a really crazy amount of stress. So we really need to have tools to manage our stress and anxiety. Otherwise, the stress hormone, cortisol, can be flooding our system, and that can cause all kinds of health challenges. So it's really important that we are able to manage our stress. And if you're the mom of a child with autism, this is even more important. Really important that you look after yourself and you have tools to manage your stress. My go-to is EFT, stretching and breathing techniques, but I encourage you to check out EFT if you're not familiar with it. So let's talk about our kids. Anxiety is the most common challenge associated with autism. And for parents, it can be difficult to really understand and to kind of appreciate what it's like for our kids, because we tend to be much more able to kind of go with the flow and manage stress than our kids are. So it's important for us to really understand this. So why do our children experience more anxiety? Well, I view ASD from a developmental perspective. And so in a nutshell, the wiring in your child's brain is atypical. And so what this means is your child's development is lagging. So your child's chronological age and your child's developmental age are different. And also your child has difficulty processing information. So information coming in, processing it, making meaning of it, and acting on it is compromised. And so this causes confusion, overwhelm, and of course anxiety. And how does your child express this anxiety? Well, you can be sure that behavior is going to be part of that. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to list 6 different types of anxiety. And so grab your piece of paper and pen. And I want you, as you're listening to these different types of anxiety, I want you to write down the ones that you think are most triggering for your child. So number 1 is performance anxiety. So our children tend to be perfectionists. You know, they want to get everything right, and they really hate making mistakes, losing, and being wrong. So that may be one for your child. Social anxiety. So this is pretty obvious. Being in social situations can cause a lot of anxiety for our kids when they're not sure how to manage. They feel uncomfortable and anxious. Anticipation of a future event. So our kids may tend to ruminate on an event that is upcoming, and it can, it can build and build and build and become really problematic. Separation anxiety. Some children get very, very stressed when they need to be away from their parents. Sensory overload. Your child's ability to process sensory stimulation may be outstripped by the stimulation in the environment and cause a lot of anxiety. And the last one is just generalized anxiety. Some kids are just generally restless and unable to kind of be. So I want you to think about which 1 or 2 of these are most troublesome for your child. And then we're going to work on these in just a couple of minutes. So I want to talk about something that is really important where anxiety is concerned. And I want you to think back to the last time you were put on the spot. Let's say you went to an event and you had to stand up and say something in front of a group of people that you didn't know, and what happened to you? So chances are that your mind went blank. And why is this? So let's go back to this fight or flight response. When your body senses the fight or flight response, it's really preparing to help you kind of run from that tiger, right? And so what's happening is all of your blood and your body is sending all the blood and resources to your arms and legs so that you can get out of dodge. And your brain isn't really required for that so much. So your brain is kind of shut down. So we can't think in those situations, right? We just draw a blank, and it's really, really frustrating. And the same thing happens to our children. So what's important to remember is, even though your child may be able to manage in a situation when he's calm, when he or she becomes really anxious, his ability to make, good, smart choices in that moment can go down the tubes. So, your child's just doing his best, but he can't access his thinking brain when he needs to. So we're at the end of the school year. If you're in Canada, if you're in the States, you're already on your summer holidays. There's lots of transitions that are going to be coming up, and new situations that your child might be encountering. So let's be proactive and think back to these types of situations that can be difficult for your child, and see if I can help you manage them more successfully by being proactive. Okay, so think about those 1, 2, or 3 different situations that are most troublesome for your child. So what is the situation that causes a trigger for your child? So write that down. What do you notice? What behavior do you see in your child? How does this anxiety show up? What does the behavior look like? How would you rate this anxiety on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being minimal and 5 being maximum. So I want you to write that down. And now let's talk about what you can do. So by now you've hopefully identified some things that are troublesome, thinking ahead to things, similar situations that your child might encounter over the next little while. So you've identified the potential triggers. Now let's talk about things that you can do to be proactive so that you can prevent anxiety from escalating to the point where it becomes a real problem. So number one, you're going to hear me say this all the time, but behavior is communication. And so when your child kind of spins out of control and does something problematic, remember your child is not trying to be a pain. Your child is expressing how he's feeling. So I know this is hard for you, but I want you to try to be empathetic. So I also want you to try to remain calm. So how you show up in the face of your child's anxiety is going to have an impact on how he behaves. So if you can remain calm, even though you may not feel it, that will help to de-escalate your child's anxiety. On the other hand, if you start over-talking or making demands or becoming very inflexible, this is going to escalate your child's anxiety. So you are really important in terms of how you're showing up. I'm a big fan of previewing, for example, the upcoming week. So you're in summer mode, sit down with your child and look at the calendar. Write on, and this is assuming your child is old enough, write on the calendar what's coming up just for the next week. So he or she can see what's coming up, so he or she can sort of mentally prepare for these upcoming events, and then prepare for the actual event itself. So where are you going? Will you be driving in the car? How long a car ride will it be? Who will you be visiting? Who might your child expect to see there? What expectations do you have for your kids? Your child is not a mind reader, so make sure that you're really clear about what you expect from your child before you leave. And this is going to set your child up for success. And you might also want to have a backup plan, a plan B, just in case things do go sideways. Take something for your child to do, have a place for your child to go if he needs to have some chill time. If you're concerned that your child is not going to be able to manage successfully for the entire event, I would suggest that you plan on going for only part of it, or maybe take 2 vehicles and you and your child leave early and let the rest of your family stay behind. I always encourage parents to leave when things are going well, not to wait until things go sideways, because you're asking for trouble, right? It's much better if you can leave early and then you've got something to praise your child for. Okay, makes sense, right? Don't discourage stimming. So if your child needs to stim, he's doing it because he needs to. That's his way of self-regulating. Just let it happen. Don't worry about what other people think. Obviously, be sure that your child is getting enough rest and exercise. There's also a great tool I'm just going to share with you. It's called the Incredible 5-Point Scale. I use it a lot. It's really simple. It was developed by Carrie Dunn Burns. She is in Minnesota, a teacher. Great tool. You can Google it, the Incredible 5-Point Scale. Comprehensive but simple at the same time. So I hope that this is helpful. I want you to take a couple of minutes and write down some things that you can do, having identified the difficult scenarios for your child. And I'm hopeful that this is really helpful for you. Sorry about my phone ringing. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So please share this video, like and share. I want to get this out to the moms who will really benefit from this information. If you would like to get a copy of my guide to making sense of autism and difficult behavior, type in guide underneath in the comments section. If you would like information on my, or if you would like to join my Facebook group or information on my Lemons to Lemonade Better Behavior Bootcamp, type in lemons below. So please share, please share. And I'll be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope if you're in Canada, I hope you're having a great start to the summer, and I hope you have a great long weekend. And I'm pretty sure you have a long weekend coming up in the States too. Anyways, enjoy. I hope you have great weather and lots of fun over the upcoming weekend. Thank you so much. I'll see you back here next Thursday at 2 p.m. for To the Spectrum and Beyond. Bye, everyone.